Hi, welcome to my gazebo build. If you're still watching, thank you for watching. In this video, I'm going to cover how I built the walls for the gazebo. What I did is I ended up building 6 sides that are identical. The other 2 sides are a little different. What I did is one of the sides has a gate and the other is the entry to the floor space of the gazebo. This is an example of one of the walls for the 6 sides. What I did is I made the spindles a little lower on top. Also on the railing, what I did is I put a slope on the bottom for rain so it doesn't pool, it just runs off. This is one of the sides that's a little different. It has the gate. Up on top, it's a little shorter, the spindles. And then I have a latch and the gate swings inward to the floor space. This is actually the easiest section to build. You have the shorter spindles on top and you just have your 1x4s on the side. To be honest, the design I come up with for the railing and the upper section cost me a lot of money in material. What I did is I ripped the 2x6 down the center, 10 feet long, and I ended up using 7 sections that are about 55.5 inches. This is an example of the railing. What I did is I used a 2x4 and I took off a strip that's about 3/8. The 2x4 now is a width of 3 1/8. When you do that and you cut it at 22.5 degrees, it fits nicely in the center of your 1x4. Notice here, these pieces I cut a little shorter so it's inset by 1/4 inch. It gives it more definition. You notice here, this is the spindles for the railing. On the bottom, I put a 5-degree bevel so that the water doesn't pool on the railing. As I mentioned in one of my other videos, I did not want to install the floor and damage it. So what I did is on my 1x4 that goes up to the top of the 4x4, up to the plate, I cut off 1 inch at the bottom to make it 1 inch shorter. My railing is 35 inches from here to the floor. I went with a 4.5 inch spacing on the bottom. Each spindle is cut at 21.25 inches. The bottom is at a bevel of 5 degrees to match this slope. What I did here is I went 16 inches from the plate on top to the bottom edge over here. Each spindle is 10 inches. In these shorter sections, what I did is I went 11 inches from the plate to the bottom here and 4-inch spindles. And that's on both sides, the one over the gate and one over the entry. These are some examples of railing I've done in the past. You'll see in some of them that they're attached to the deck floor. That would have to be modified in this case for the gazebo because you're not attaching it to the floor. You'd have to run a rail along the bottom and attach it to the side 1x4.